story is called Dust on the Doorstep. In the tiny windswept village of Grimsby Hollow, there was one place that everyone knew to avoid: the home of Widow Malgrave. Perched on the hill's edge, the crumbling stone house seemed to lean toward you, daring anyone to approach. Its windows were shrouded in grime, its walls streaked with dirt, but the most infamous was the dusty doorstep. No one ever swept it, and yet the layer of gray dust never disappeared. It clung to the stoop in a thick, unnatural coating, like it had been painted on by a ghostly hand. Stories swirled in the village, tales of the butcher who knocked on her door and fell dead before the sunset, or the schoolteacher who stepped too close and vanished into thin air. If you touch the dust, the old-timers would whisper, it marks you. Still, there were always skeptics. One rainy evening, a drifter named Colin passed through the village, a man with no fear and even less sense. He overheard the warnings in the pub, how the dust was cursed, how the Widow Malgrave hadn't been seen in years, but was surely still watching from the shadows. Superstition, Colin scoffed, throwing back the last of his ale. It's just an old woman. I'll prove it to you. The villagers protested, but Colin was already on his way, trudging up the muddy path toward the widow's house. Rain pattered on the crooked shingles as he climbed the creaking porch steps. There it was, the infamous dust, dull and lifeless in the dim light. With a smirk, Colin knelt down and brushed his fingers across the surface. The dust was icy, and for a moment it seemed to move beneath his hand, like it was alive. That's all, he muttered. Wiping his hands on his coat, he straightened, knocked on the door 3 times, and waited. Nothing. He turned to leave, but as his boots hit the gravel path, he felt it, a strange heaviness settling into his chest. As though the air itself were pressing against him, he stumbled, clutching his heart. By the time Colin made it back to the village, he was coughing violently, his face pale and waxy. He collapsed in the town square, gasping for air. Within minutes, he was gone. The villagers buried him quickly, muttering prayers under their breath, another victim of Widow Malgrave's doorstep. A week later, young Elsie Grayson made up her mind to solve the mystery. At 13, she was the boldest of her siblings and always carried a notebook, determined to be a journalist. It's just dust, she told herself, clutching her lantern as she approached the widow's house. The porch creaked under her weight, and the dust seemed to shimmer in the moonlight. She crouched down to inspect it, careful not to touch it. The grains glistened oddly, like fragments of shattered mirrors.
Who are you? Who are you?
A raspy voice croaked from the shadows. Elsie froze. From the doorway emerged Widow Malgrave herself. Her figure draped in tattered black cloth. Her face was pale, her eyes hollow, but there was something else, something ancient about her. I wanted to know about the dust, Elsie stammered. The widow's lips curled into a thin smile.
Curiosity is dangerous, child. This dust, it's my guardian, my curse, and my punishment. Every soul it touches becomes mine,
she said. Elsie shuddered. Why? The widow stepped closer, her voice barely a whisper.
Long ago, I betrayed someone I loved. They cursed me to live alone forever, with only the dust to remind me of what I lost. The dust hungers, child. It takes, and it gives me what I cannot bear to lose. Eternity.
Elsie's heart pounded. Can't you get rid of it? The widow's smile faded.
It's too late for me, but not for you. Go, and do not return.
She said. Terrified, Elsie turned and fled, the widow's final words echoing in her ears.
But not for you. Go, and do not return.
The next morning, the villagers found no trace of the house, the widow, or the dusty doorstep. In their place was a patch of barren earth, as if the home never existed. But Elsie knew better. In her notebook, she scribbled one last line beneath her report. The dust is gone, but the curse lives on.
Socials for more content and buy your book by searching Scary Stories for Creepy Kids on Amazon. Also send us your own scary stories and we might include it on a future episode. Email us at scarystoriesforcreepykids@gmail.com. Peace out. Bye!
Superstition.
I said superstition.
Yeah.
Wait, how do you say it?
Superstition.
Superstition. Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh. Perched on the edge. Oh. This is hard. Do I just start over?
No, just go with perched.
In the tiny how do you say that?
Windswept.
Windswept.
Yep.
Okay. In the tiny windswept village of Grimsby.
Yeah.
In the tiny oh my gosh, I haven't recorded in a while. No one swept it, and yet the layer of gray dust never disappeared. It clung.
Okay.
With a smirk, Colin knelt down and brushed his fingers across the surface. It was dust. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.